10 a.m. 19 August 2024, 10 a.m. I am in excruciating pain. Hi, Bamna, Bafana, boys at not sure we're not sure it's gonna have to dilate. We're not sure when your cervix is gonna open up, your water hasn't broken, maybe just get induced, which I feel like I need to point him his bum for that one, because he was not gonna be enduring the pain of an induction. I was, but I'm like, I asked my doctor, am I gonna dilate faster if I get induced now? She's like, yeah, I'm in a lot of pain and I'm not allowed to get an epidural and I can't take this anymore. Call my doctor and they're like, she's in theater, you're not the only patient. Imagine, you're not the only patient. And now I am an emergency C-section case. Now I am a theater case. Now only I can hear them call my doctor. Now I hear them calling my doctor, and I was like, and then I just heard a cry. I heard a cry, and I knew that my life has changed forever. First and foremost, here's my journal. This journal was recommended to me, not this journal in particular, but a journal was recommended to me by my therapist when I started therapy in 2024 January, right? So I journal every single thing. You're probably in here. Jokes. But my Bible verses, my plans, this is my life. So if you see it on here, just know that I'm going to carry this everywhere, because this is where I think, I scribble, this is my art, this is me. Right, so I wrote down a couple of things that I want to say today. So for episode 4, guys, I decided that I'm going to start a segment before I start recording these episodes. And that short segment would be growing pains and a couple of things that I learned, just to allow myself to let loose before I start recording. But we are on here, and today's episode is about labor pains. Well, it's called labor pains, but it's initially about when I went into labor and when I gave birth. And I would love to think that this is an interesting story. Not too interesting, but I think just a couple of things that I picked up from the experience here and there that I'd like to share and put on this platform, right? All right. So basically, I found out I was pregnant. And I went to my gynae just to I went to my GP just to confirm, and she did confirm the fact that I was pregnant. And she had recommended me to a hospital. I'm not going to name the hospital because of a couple of things that I might want to critique, right? And if my gynae sees this, it's not about you. I love you. You were great. But I do have a couple of things that I want to critique when it comes to the experience, and I'm hoping that other women do not go through this, right? I want to try to inform people so that they make the best decisions for them. I'm going to be talking about my labor pains. So I went to my GP, right? I went to my GP just to confirm that I'm pregnant, and she confirmed that for me. And then she referred me to a particular hospital that's not too far from where I stay. Okay, so then I didn't go. I don't know why I didn't go to the hospital, to that particular gynae that she had referred me to, but I didn't go until I seemed to be complicating. So I thought it was complicating, but apparently what was going on with me was normal. So I was bleeding during my first trimester, and I thought, okay, that is a red flag. I rushed to the hospital only to find out that it wasn't anything bad. My cervix was still very much closed and I'm fine. But that's how I started my antenatal. I've never known how to pronounce that word, but that's when I started those visits, right? Now, the reason I'm saying I want to critique is because there are certain things that our parents went through and their parents went through that we don't go through, especially with these private hospitals that you pay so much money for. So preparation, maybe I just was not informed, but when I started those visits with our parents in public institutions, they would make sure that they exercise during all of those visits. So it was apparently something called ukdopama orange or something, I don't remember. But it is so helpful, guys. It is so essential that you work out before. I'm not saying that it's going to make your labor experience smoother, because really there are some people that work out regularly and still have a tough time. But obviously I would recommend it, and I would hope that there are activities that you partake in. For the amount that we were paying, I just wish that we were able to partake in activities during these visits that, help us dilate when the time comes, dilate easier when the time comes, right? But we didn't have that. So that's the first thing I wanted to critique when it comes to my labor experience. So you just go to the hospital, you wait for your gynae, and sometimes that's another thing about a private hospital. The one person who can attend to you is your actual doctor. So sometimes she'd be in theater and we would wait for hours. I met an amazing woman though when I was waiting one time, and her and I still talk to this day. So at least something good came out of it. But the fact you're Linda and you wait for a very long time because the only person who can assist you is your gynae is excuse me, off for me. But that's the one thing that I would change. But I went to my antenatal visits and it was great. And during the last one at 39 weeks, we scheduled an induction. Now, what led me to schedule an induction? Fear. And I wish that I was given better advice when it comes to this. Excuse me. So I was 39 weeks pregnant, going almost full term, almost 40 weeks. And my baby was a decently sized baby, because she was just over 3 kgs. And I think I rushed, to be quite honest. I really think and I did not trust the process, God's process that is. And I was just like, okay, I'm afraid of getting a C-section, which is something I ended up getting anyway. But my biggest fear was having to go through an operation. Excuse me. So I was like, okay, no, I'll schedule an induction for after 40 weeks. So she's like, okay, at 40 weeks and 3 days, which will be the Sunday, let's schedule you for an induction. So after scheduling you for an induction, she books a bed for you. After booking a bed for you, after you give birth in the maternity ward, after booking that bed for you, they give you a list of the stuff that you need to get. Another thing, it's a private hospital, but there are certain things I think it's okay for you to get for yourself, like your baby's crawler, their hats, whatever. That is obviously up to you. But when it comes to like diapers and wipes and all of that stuff and surgical spirit, I'm not sure why you're supposed to be getting that when you pay a crap amount of money, to the institution. Excuse me. And it's not just the hospital that I went to. I think it's most private hospitals, if not all. But we had to get all of those stuff for ourselves. So that's what I got for the baby. It's her. They had listed like when I wore 10 vests. I don't know how many crawlers. I don't know how many pairs of socks. I think hats. They were just like 2 or 3 hats. They had mentioned, I think if I slept in Dana, they had mentioned, I don't even know if they use that, to be quite honest, outfit changes and but mostly onesies are recommended. I think you should get a onesie for hospital specifically. Surgical spirit is for cleaning their belly button after the umbilical cord has been cut, and the like. And then for us, they recommended 10 linen savers, which is shocking, but some people do bleed excessively. I didn't finish my linen savers because the hospital did provide some pads, mommy pads. And the reason, guys, I'm describing them as this big is because they're actually this big. They are actually this big, but I still prefer my normal pads that I feel like they absorb better. But that one, I guess you get it because it's big and it's thick. Not since you get rolls and rolls of tissue in your undies. But mommy pads, because some people really also bleed excessively. I did not bleed excessively, by the grace of God. But yeah, that's what you needed to get after booking a bed. So I'm now booked for the 18th of August. I'm booked for the 18th of August at 7 p.m. Right? So when I'm at home, before that, I've been preparing my daughter's room and painting and getting her crib and, decorating whatever it is that I can think of. I've been preparing her closet. But guys, if I had to tell you that, I think so the first, we had gotten a guy to come paint, right? And he didn't finish. So, Babaga Ano had to do the second coat, right? And he managed to finish. So what he hadn't done is, so there are these, I think it's Cornish, I don't know, but obviously after removing the tapes, that's what he had to paint, right? But now I get and I was just like, let me go get paint and do this myself. And that's when they were like, when you are about to give birth, because the fact you are almost 40, you're 40 weeks pregnant on a step ladder, which is a red flag. I should not have done that. And you're painting. They were just like, so that's part of Black mythology, if that's a word, that apparently you're doing too much, you're actually about to give birth, right? But I was like changing light bulbs. Like I wasn't asking nobody for nothing. I was just like, I was in it. I was doing it myself. And they were just like, Wena, red flag, you're about to give birth. So now on the Sunday that I'm scheduled for an induction, I decide that I'm going to go to church. I hadn't gone to church in a very long time. So I actually have a trauma experience with church. But because of that trauma experience, nothing bad about the church, just my own personal experience, I decided that I'm not going to go I just couldn't go. I couldn't find the strength to go for a very long time. I would just go to the stadium, get Easter. I was that Pasega girl and Kismosi girl and, just going Easter and Christmas, just, praising and worshiping Easter and Christmas, which some people would beg to differ, but it's just good to go to church. And I haven't been going to church, but on this particular day I'm like, I'm gonna bring life. I need to go to church. So I wake up and I get dressed and I go to church. Mind you, I am over 40 weeks pregnant. For all I know, I could burst this ordering. I could literally, my water could break this ordering, but I'm like, I'm going to church. So I go to church. And then after church, I go home just to go double check my bag and all of that. And then we go to the hospital. So it was me, my mom, and I think Wabaga Ano met us there. I don't recall size. But we get there, we get to the reception books us into labor ward. We go to the labor ward, come across a couple of nurses. They assign me Gulumpet to go Mivele. And as I'm sitting there, but actually, very important, after church when I got home, I felt like I've got piles or a pupil pain. So if you're female and you've ever sat, I don't know how piles feel like, by the way, but I'm assuming that's how they feel. If you're female and you've ever sat on like a very cold surface, besides your period pains, there's this pain that you get in like your bum hole, right? That just shows which was fagela makaza. And I was getting like a pain like that. Né? And my mom's friend decided to set up like this bucket for me with I don't remember what. I'm not sure if I give Vicks. I don't remember, but there's something she added there that had a certain scent, and it was boiling hot water, so I was basically steaming. And she was saying to my mom, she didn't want to scare me, but she was saying to my mom, it's time, Maji, it's time. But I wasn't paying attention to that, because you also have Braxton Hicks before you give birth, and you don't want to overthink it. You don't want to jump into conclusions, and it's just a Braxton Hick. So I didn't want to be that person who just, takes things a little too far. So, but I think you should be that person, because you actually don't know if you're in labor and you don't want to put you or your child at risk. But I was very ignorant. But luckily that day I was scheduled for an induction anyway. So then I get to the hospital. We go to the hospital eventually, 6 or 7, at like past 6ish to 7 we go to the hospital. It's only like 7 minutes away from my house. See ya, and then when we get there, reception, labor ward get scheduled a bed. Get assigned a bed, right? and take my bags, and then we're there, right? And my mom, it was my mom and her friend, yeah, so Babagano wasn't there yet. Excuse me. So it's my mom and her friend, we have nice conversation, and eventually they have to leave. So they leave, and then Babagano arrives shortly after, if I recall properly. And he was there with his friend. But that friend really supported me through that as well. And that's why he calls himself Godfather. But anyway, alright, so now we are chilling. It's like past 7 p.m. And the nurse comes in to check if I'm dilated. And she's like, meaning that my cervix is still as closed as can be. And then she ties that, whatever that thing is called, but apparently it's to check the baby's heart rate, right? If it's fine. And she ties that. Already I'm getting into discomfort, nyana. I can feel, I thought it was this machine. 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm not sure if she was coming every hour. I don't recall, anxiety, but I'm getting more and more uncomfortable from this machine. She comes every once in a while to take it out and allows me to just sit, and then she comes back and then she checks it again, and then and it's uncomfortable. But anyway, I sit through it. Eventually, I think at like 11 p.m, I'm like, I must, I think I've got contractions. I'm got discomforting. I say, understand, man. And she says, my love, you've had contractions ever since you got here. You've been contracting. And then she shows me this sheet. And she was like, can you see? I don't know, it's like a graph. She's like, so this is the baby's heartbeat. And right under that, these are your contractions. You have been contracting, my sister. Huh? I did not even know. But then from then, I think I called Vanessa, my friend. I'm like, hey chief, I'm contracting. She's like, did you download that app? I was like, no, let me download it. I download the app. It tracks some of my contractions. So for whenever you get that sharp pain. So just to describe them, it's like a sharp pain. I don't even know how to describe that pain, but you can feel them coming and then you feel them go. So for as long as you have that pain, you click on the app, goes, okay, I'm contracting. And then when it stops, you click on the app that they've stopped. So then the app will tell you that you've been contracting for 2 minutes. Your contractions are 2 minutes long and they are maybe still 10 minutes apart. Or they're still 30 minutes apart. My contractions, if I recall properly, were lasting 2 minutes, which is a long time. And they were like 3-4 minutes apart. I think they started like 6 minutes when I downloaded the app. Then eventually they're like 3-4 minutes apart. But when the nurse comes to check on me, hey, this lady, she looks at the graph and then she says, my contractions are getting worse. And then I tell her, I think at like 12-ish, I don't remember the time, but there was a time I called her and I'm like, hey, these things are getting worse. She gives me Panado. Now me, I'm shocked because according to what I know, you shouldn't take anything, unless you're getting an epidural, and Panado. I didn't think at the time. I'm like, guys, I didn't know that my pain tolerance was so low. But I was just like, hey, beds, if the nurse says it's okay. I take them. I seem better. She's like, at 1 a.m, I'm supposed to induce you. But since you're already contracting yourself, do you want to wait it out? I'm like, I think if I'm going to go into natural labor, I think let me just wait it out, And another thing is that you've been told that inductions are painful. They're painful because it's induced pain. This is not a natural pain that your body, goes through. This is a pain that you are injected to feel this pain so that you can give birth. So I'm like, okay, maybe let me just wait it out. Let me thug it out. And then at 1 a.m, she comes back. She's like, you sure? You're thugging it out? I'm like, yeah, I'm grand. I'm in a lot of pain. I think your Panado has been wearing off. I'm in a lot of pain. Oh, figure inject. I don't even think she told me what that injection was. She puts an injection in my bum. Sorry. She puts an injection and then she leaves. And that injection made me feel better. I was feeling better. But now I'm waiting and she's like, are you sure you don't want to get induced? Do you want to wait for your doctor? I'm like, yeah. But then eventually I am like in a lot of pain. And then I ask for an epidural. Damn me, they've been giving me all of these pain meds and I've been keeping quiet. And I haven't been asking like a good responsible mother asks people who have done their research properly when it comes to giving birth. I didn't ask. I just said, Saga. You know, me, I can't. Pain. Yeah, mistake. Imbizo nesa. Ines, ngicela epidural. Awu, ngicela epidural. Nasicela epidural. No, nurse was like, my sister already gave. No, she doesn't tell me that she already gave me things to alleviate pain. She's like, for an epidural, you're gonna have to wait for your gynae, my sister. I think she knew. She just didn't want to tell me that. Hey, since they blind along, perma pain meds, kakulu. She's just like, no, for an epidural, you need to wait for your gynae and you need to wait for the. Why am I losing sight of my English words? Basically, there's a person who's got to be, excuse me, assigned to do this, to give me an epidural. I'm like, beds, anesthesian. The anesthesian. You need to wait for your gynae and the anesthesian. And your gynae is going to be at 7 a.m. Can you thug it out? Like, beds, I can thug it out. Excuse me. Alright, my gynae gets there at 7. She looks at my file. She's like, you haven't been induced. My mom dad is sitting right here. She's like, hey chief, you haven't been induced. I'm like, no, I thought I could wait because I already started contracting on my own. You know, I thought I could wait it out. And she was like, you was busy, like, you know. But basically, that's what she was giving off. And I'm like, I'm in so much pain. And I was like, the nurse said I must wait for you to get an epidural. And she was like, epidural, looking at my file, you can't get an epidural. You already took pain alleviating meds. And that's another thing I wish I could have changed. I'm sure I could have done my research in army, but like I said, I struggle with pain. But anyway, then that happens. Okay, shapo. So now Baga Ano is like, bro, maybe just get induced, you know. It's gonna help you contract. Right now, we're not sure. It's gonna help you dilate. We're not sure when your cervix is gonna open up. Your water hasn't broken. Maybe, you know, just get induced. Which I feel like I need to point him his bum for that one, because he was not gonna be enduring the pain of an induction. I was, you know. But I'm like, I asked my doctor, am I gonna dilate faster if I get induced now? She's like, yeah. I bet I get induced. This is like past 7 a.m. now, after having these discussions with my doctor during her, you know, checkup right now. And I get induced at like past 7 a.m. 10 a.m. 19 August 2024, 10 a.m. I am in excruciating pain. I will not and at first I even thought it was at night. In my head, I gave birth at night. But I gave birth during the day. But in my head, this was at night. 10 a.m. I'm in excruciating pain. This one decided that he's going to go freshen up. I don't know for what. But he decided that he's going to go freshen up. I am in now I have no one next to me. My mom is gone. This one went to go freshen up for God knows what reason. But I don't care in that moment. But I think I called a friend of mine and I was like, yeah, I'm in a lot of pain and I'm not allowed to get an epidural and I can't take this anymore. I can't take this anymore. And then I recall leaving the phone on the chair and there was another girl, we labor ward, and she was chilling, watching Netflix, eating snacks with her big belly, like as if imagine that's me now, I am exaggerating. I'm in a lot of pain. Now I'm wearing a night dress as a special, and you know it's those ones you tie at the top and your entire ass is out. Forgive my French, but I need to explain this the best way I know how to. I'm running around with my bum out and I took off because I told that lady this machine now is making me uncomfortable. She's like, no, we're looking at the baby's heartbeat, we're monitoring the baby's heartbeat, we can't take it out. I'm like, this machine, nothing else are worse because you're telling me that I need to sleep on my left. I must sleep on my left, or I must look up, and you're telling me I can't move around and I'm in pain. Let me take this thing out. I took it out. I ran across the room. The nurse comes in. So mind you, the nurse that works at that hospital is friends with one of my closest friends' mom. And that lady, my friend's mom, who's essentially my mom, called her. I see, hey, my daughter's coming there, please take good care of her. Yo, I remember that nurse coming in and saying, yes, sis, this patient that Nobulelo brought me, I must tell her this patient is problematic. I am running around. She's like, why the hell did you take out this machine? Now we're gonna have to start all over. This, that, I don't care. I'm in pain. I have, you got a good 10 minutes from that machine. And there's another one that didn't check the paper tray when she was doing that thing before this one. So that paper tray, that machine was running, and there was no paper coming out showing the baby's progress and my progress. So that's not my fault that now you gotta make me sit here an extra 10 minutes because you just refilled the paper tray to monitor my contractions and the baby's heartbeat. I am saying I don't want to be on this machine. I am in pain. I am in a lot of pain. Right? This nurse is holding her head like, yo, this one, what have I got myself into? But I'm like, I don't care. Now I'm in pain. I can't explain that pain to anyone. It's piles, it's constipation, it's pupil pain, it's period pains, it's nausea, it's sweating, it's all of it. You can't explain it until you go through it. Like I said in my last video, you have to go through it to know what I'm talking about. Otherwise, you won't know. No one could have explained what I was going through. And you are busy telling me that when your paper, you're monitoring, please. I'm not supposed to do this, but by the way, disclaimer, I am not condoning what I did. I am not condoning anything, but I really was not in the best place, to be quite honest. Go to the toilet, I am squatting. She's like, you're gonna harm the baby, you're gonna make me lose my job, you're not supposed to be doing that. And I was like, get it out of me, I'm constipated, I've got piles, I've got a poo pain, I need to squat, I can't do this. Which would have actually been the best idea, just in a safer area, not the toilet, because I've seen that a lot of women recommend this thing of them making you sleep on your back and open your legs does not work. Squat. Sit in a squatting position, that baby will burst right out. But that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to squat. And they were just like, okay, you know what, let's rush you to the delivery room. They put me on a stretcher, or that bed has wheels. They put me on the bed, they rush me out. I'm like, where's my doctor? They're like, your doctor is in theater operating on someone else. I called my doctor now. I'm saying I want a C-section now. Now remember, I did not want a C-section. That's the reason I got induced to begin with, because I didn't want a C-section. But now, and another thing is I'm induced, so this pain is 10 times more. I'm like, call my doctor. The nurse was like, we will call her, just relax. Call my doctor. And they're like, she's in theater. You're not the only patient. Imagine. You're not the only patient. This is why this is the downside to private hospitals, right? They put me in some room. I don't know what's going on in there. Then they take me to the delivery room. I'm like, okay, thank God. They check me. They're like, you're 6 centimeters dilated. They're like, hang in there. Why do you want a C-section now? You're almost there. Hang in there. I'm like, 4 centimeters is a lot. It took me 3 hours to get to 6. So I don't know how long it's going to take me for me to get to 10. And I'm induced. And I'm not okay. I just want this baby out of me. Get this baby out of me. You know? And they were like, okay, hang in there. Let's call your doctor. We'll call her. And I could see who I'm calling next day. Just wondering who's this dramatic little girl in the labor room. Why they didn't call her. But I was right. I was screaming with every contraction. I was screaming at the top of my lungs. And my gynae used to tell me about the girls that scream in the labor room. And I thought I wouldn't be one of them. I thought I'd be one of those ones that, you take a cloth and you bite into it with every contraction. I screamed. I would hold on. I would pull the nurse. I would scream until that contraction is up. I would check my contractions up. They're 1 minute apart. I am dying. Yeah, I know this is my death. I know today I'm not going to make it. Today I must just say my last prayer. My life was flashing before my eyes. I'm dying. I'm dying. That's what's happening here. I'm dying. And then eventually they pop my amniotic sac. So as I'm going through this motion of craziness, they like take this long ass stick, very long, gray stick, very thin, thinner than a pen, so very thin. They shove it into my vajayjay, and then they pop my amniotic sac. And of course, another thing that made them do that is that they could see that they have that thing around me, but I guess that was a good thing because now they can see that the baby's heart rate is dropping. And they're like, baby's heart rate is dropping, let's check. Pop my amniotic sac. Now through my coochie is amniotic fluid, aka water, my water, and baby's doo-doo. So now baby pooed in my, she was also trying to suicide both of us at this point. She pooed because she was obviously clearly under distress at this point, and now I am an emergency C-section case. Now I am a theater case. Now only I can hear them call my doctor. Now I hear them calling my doctor, and I was like, because there was a point I cried and I was like, what are you didn't call my doctor? You're lying. And she was like, I called her. She's still in theater. You're not the only patient. And when I find that nurse who said that to me, but now I have to be rushed. My doctor comes in. I get rushed to theater. I have no one I know around me, by the way, at this point. My mom is calling me. Babaga, I know is calling me. I'm not picking up. I am not picking up. I'm crying. Eventually, I remember I picked up a call. I'm just not sure if it was my mom. I think I picked up my mom's call. I just swiped. I saw it ring. I swiped. I didn't speak. I was screaming. That's when she panicked and they rushed to the hospital. I'm already in theater by the time they arrive. And then I am, all right, I am there. As I'm sitting, there are these lots and lots of people in theater, which I'm assuming now that I think of it as guys, why? Listen, Casey, anesthesia. Anyway, two gynaes in there. So my gynae and the gynae that usually helps with, well, the gynae that takes her patients when she's not around. So they work together. It's those two gynaes. It's, I'm assuming now, the pediatrician because he was present, and the anesthetician. Guys, I went to school as a funding in a postgraduate degree. But anyway, okay, my battery's low. I'm gonna wrap it up. But anyway, now I'm there and I'm like, hey, get this baby out of me. Anesthetician, young Saba, it's like 4 injections on my back. And the gynaes are prepping whatever it is they're going to be cutting me with. And as they're prepping this other gynae is like, hi, Bamna, Bafana, boys at. You're mocking me for my pain. You're mocking me. I get those after so these 4 injections, I don't know what they are, but like on the 3rd one already was numb. I couldn't feel a thing. So in the 4th one, my bank with the 4th one, when they injected the 4th one into me, excuse me, I could just feel there's an object going into my back, but I couldn't feel a thing. And plus, that pain is nothing compared to what I'm going through here in the woman area. That pain is nothing. And then I lie on my back. They close like a curtain, I think, if I recall properly, because I couldn't see what was going on, but I could feel it. And then I could feel the first whatever knife or whatever they cut me open with. I could feel the first cut, and I could feel the cuts going in, but they're not painful, but you can feel someone is putting pressure on your abdominal area. You can feel. And then I could feel them push the baby down. And then I just heard a cry. I heard a cry, and I knew that my life has changed forever. I saw the pediatrician now take her. I was drowsy, and I think they just took her weight, and then right after that they wiped her down, and then he brought her to me, and I could see her. She had a lot of hair, and then the pediatrician was like, give her a couple of kisses, and I kissed her, and I was okay. And it was okay, and everything was fine. yeah, my life had changed forever at that point. And they took her to the nursery. Excuse me, I don't even know why, but the pediatrician was like, look at her properly, maybe look under her feet. He made me look at the top of her head. He changed angles. He's like, look at her. And I did that. And then she went to the nursery. And I'm okay. And then I could feel myself getting stitched up and I'm fine. And then now I'm embarrassed now. Because I made a scene. I'm embarrassed. And then I asked the other guy and he was like, do you sing that song to everyone or are you just mocking me? And she's like, no, I sing it to everyone because this isn't easy. She's like, I know what you're going through is not easy. And then they took my bed out, and as they rolled me out of the operating room, I could see Babaga Ano and I saw my mom, and I could see them combating me. So they were asking the security or whoever, and I could see them following me. And I was taken to the maternity ward, and yeah, and then they came in, and all I could think of was, where's my baby, where's my baby, where's my baby? Yeah. So yeah, but those 3 days, I was in hospital for 3 days. They were magical. They were definitely magical. I'm trying to figure out now if I want to say my experience at the hospital for those 3 days, or should I leave that for part 2? But let me just get through it. A couple of things that I would have changed about my stays. I wish they had taught us how to change baby's diaper. It's not a good assumption to think that we can all do it. I personally did not have a baby around me until I gave birth to my baby. My mom only had me and that was it, and no one else gave birth in my presence. Or maseng for me to know. I didn't know that with each diaper change you need to clean the belly button. I only learned that when I was at home. That's why her belly button took longer than it was supposed to fall off. The umbilical cord, that little sticky that was left there, took longer than it should have to fall off because they didn't tell me that. Showing us how to breastfeed, to help them latch, didn't get that. Maybe asking for a lactation specialist is too much. It's bougie. But we also had doctors come in, and I didn't know that the pediatrician was charging me on top of, and my gynae didn't tell me about this money that we had to pay, but we got refunded for that because the medical aid already covered that anyway. My baby would cry. My baby was a crier. We were pale with maternity ward that was crying at the top of her lungs, and the nurses wouldn't come check on us unless I was the one beeping. That's another thing that I would change, and this is why I didn't mention the name of the hospital, but I just wish that this would change. Yeah, so that's what I would change about my stay, but in essence that is my labor experience. And now I have a beautiful baby girl, a gorgeous baby girl with the best personality. My life is not the same. It's definitely not the same. But anyway, that's why we are here, because of baby A. And I'm so happy to be here. I hope you enjoyed that little story time. Guys, I'm busy. I'm a story time. I hope you enjoyed that little story time, and I hope that you make really good decisions when it comes to your labor journey, and I hope that you do your research. I would advise you to really do your research. Don't rush, guys. If you've at 40 weeks, wait it out. There's no need for my induction unless your baby is in danger or you're in danger. But if you're not in the danger zone, really wait it out. Research, maybe even opt to have a doula, a person who can basically be your baby lawyer until your baby's on earth. All right. And choose the hospital, look at reviews and stuff. So choose your hospital wisely. But anyway, that is it from me. I hope you enjoyed the story time. Don't forget to Like, comment, share, subscribe, turn your post notifications on. Alright, to get notified every single time I post. But I post every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Okay, I love you. Peace and blessings.